around the city, and although Harrington makes AYP every year, the level of education is not the same. So as a parent, let me just tell you, it's no way near where my expectations for my children are. And that's why I'm here.
As far as the education is concerned, the level of education, I have to supplement my child's education when he comes home. All the education that he receives, he doesn't get in the classroom. I have to supplement it. And the reason why is not the quality of teachers. The teachers that are in my son's school are outstanding. I have seen, I know teachers all over, from Franklin Learning Center to Masterman. The teachers in my son's school are at their level or higher. I've been in Norriton, in Lower Marion, and schools like that, and the teachers in my son's school are at their level or higher. The problem is the system, is the way that they do things, is the programs that they have, is the type of ridiculous programs and the reading programs that there's no gifted. I just looked at the statistics for the school, and they were showing how many people were gifted, and it might be 1%. I went through all the West Philadelphia schools, and it got at the most 2 or 3%. I know more gifted kids in my son's school, at least 15%, 20%, but they listed on there only 1 or 2%. There's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between, again, people are speaking different languages. And I see, and they mean well, and I see some of the administrators that come into the school, they hardly even, I mean, they walk right past you. They hardly even look at you because they're there, they have a different focus. They're trying to maintain a job. And what they do is they give out these programs, and if a program doesn't work, they create another program. If that doesn't work, they create another program. So they need to follow that. At least they keep a job for a year because they have to go through that program a year, 4 or 5 years, because they have to go through that program. When it fails, then they create another program. They create 5 more years of work. But the kids don't get the education, so we have to supplement it. I mean, I have my son he has we have a membership to the Franklin Institute, the Natural History Museum, the Art Museum, and so forth. I supplement his education at home. I shouldn't have worked as hard as I do. That's part of my natural job, but again, I'm very happy with the teachers, but the programs are absolutely ridiculous.
Let's talk about it. I'm Mia King. I'm a teacher at Westwood High. And one of the things I saw in the video, and I know from experience, is that it's really important for teachers to build relationships in the community they're teaching, and to get to know the parents and the neighborhood and everything. And those relationships take time to build. And I think one of I get my paycheck from the school district. But when parents are standing with me and saying, we need more time to work on that, then that's kind of a voice to be reckoned with.
Well, to backtrack on the last question about the parents wanting to know like how their child's education is going, how they have to supplement their child's education. As a student in the Philadelphia public system, I not only understand what I can learn, or I not only understand what I like when I'm able to learn, but I'm also understanding right now as a student what I'm going to learn. Like in my classroom, it's not only the teachers, it's not only like the teachers or the people who changing or who come into the school that we don't even know. Like in West Philadelphia, for the first year, we had 3 different principals, right? It's not only that, but it's like you actually take time in your child's life to like understand what they do in the class. But you also have to think about those parents who aren't really involved in their child's life, who aren't really caring about what their child is doing in class. Like the interruptions. That's why you have these problems, because like a lot of parents are not taking enough time and, oh, what are you doing for homework today? What did you learn in class today? Like for me as a child, for me as a 16-year-old right now, my parent, my uncle, my guardian, he always asks me, what am I doing in school today? He makes me study 2 hours every day. Not only make me, but I'm willing to study. It's not only that, but you wanna involve parents into this thing. It's not just child. It's not the school. It's not like the big people. It's like the way that they're learning. It's the time that the teacher has to take out of their time to go help someone else who's trying to distract, or help someone else or kick someone out just because they're distracting your child. It's not what they're learning in class. It's how are they learning in class.
So what do we do to address that? Kind of starting with what Deshaun said, like what can we do? What can parents do? How do we increase that parent piece? How do we increase that parent voice?
I feel like everybody in the room shares the same issues. People are just frustrated for different reasons because it may affect them in different ways. But I think this is the starting point on how you start to figure that out. Like folks just need to come together and have those conversations. Like, well, we do have these programs in place, and the folks who aren't feeling the effect of what it's supposed to do, they need to voice that, and folks need to come together and say, well, this is what it needs to be doing, and there needs to be some accountability. For us, the way it worked for us, specifically when we were working on the high school, we didn't have much support in the beginning because folks just kind of looked at us that we were crazy. It was just a bunch of high school students sitting around a table drafting out this plan for a school. So we had to get our parents to come help us, and that was kind of hard because they work. So these meetings lasted really, really late. Like this one's probably gonna last really late. But that's how it starts. Like folks just need to really come out, and whether it's after work, after school, and folks are tired or whatever, you guys have to come together and start having those conversations. And it starts with that one-on-one outreach, right? There's clearly folks in the room that we already all identified who are different players in the classroom, in the administration, or parents, or community groups. You guys need to start talking together. Like, hey, when's the next time we're gonna meet so we can like further this conversation? This is a good starting point, but you guys really need to, everyone in the room really needs to put that time in to coming together, because nothing's really gonna happen if it's just parents trying to change something on their own, or students trying to change something on their own, or educators trying to do it. Like everyone has to really come together and do that, and it starts with the, hey, sign that sheet that's on that table out there so we can call you for the next meeting.
Why it's not working, what needs to happen. How do we have that collective conversation? What does that conversation start with at this point?
Well, this is just in my humble opinion. I believe that we need to be more proactive. I think we've talked enough. We've said enough to the district. We've said enough to teachers. There's been promises made left and right, and it's just not getting it done. I think we need to become more proactive. In the video, we saw they rallied, they went down to City Hall, they spoke to the mayor, they got in his face, and they made sure that something got accomplished. What we're doing right now is sitting in the back burners, hoping that our administrators do something, and I'm done doing that. Yeah. I am done doing that. I did that for the past 2 years for West Philadelphia High School, and I'm not doing it anymore. My children are becoming at our age now where there's gonna be 4 of my children in West Philadelphia High School receiving the same bad education as my son right now, and I will not have it. So that's what we need to do, be more proactive in our community. Enough with the talking.
I think one of the main things is that we have to take a different type of approach. When a business opens up, the first thing they do is market. and there's no marketing going on. If we want parents to get involved, we have to market to them. First thing they try to get is information from you. They want your email, they want your address, they want your phone. I push it, but I don't see it. I mean, but that's my background is marketing, but I don't see it in the school. And what I see is that a lot of the teachers or the administration have teaching abilities, but they don't have the type of outreach abilities. They're kind of limited in their way of speaking to or reaching out to parents. Sometimes they don't have those type of skills. They might be able to open a building, put teachers in place, but going beyond that, they don't have that ability. So we need to learn, or we need to find a way to market to parents, to speak to them where they're at. A lot of them have Facebook, a lot of them have tweeting, etc. I set up all of those things for my school and passed it on to the teachers or the administration. They didn't use it, so I had to utilize that. That's where the limit is that they don't have the idea to market. They have a problem with, if you look at some of the sites where they have a grading for the school, you go to a neighborhood, you look up a site and it says a grading for the school. They have 5-year-old information about how people didn't like the school. So if someone looks up the school and they look at the information and say the school is horrible, I'm not going to send my kid to that school. So you have to market to it. You have to have parents that are happy. Write a note in there, write a opinion in there. But they are limited in that. So the way that we get parents involved, the way that we get our officials involved is that we market to the community that these are the problems, that I'm not happy with my child's education at West Philadelphia High. And then we do it as a group, because one person, she's going to struggle and struggle and struggle and be alone. And since we have people together here, we need to come together. We will come together. It's not need, because I always hear in meetings, we need to, and then when is the next meeting? And then we say the same thing, we need to, when's the next meeting? We will come together, we will start marketing, we'll start passing around suggestions, and then go forward with that. And that's one of the key things, is to get the word out that this is what we need to do, this is how we need to do it, and this is what we expect from you. And give them a deadline, and not a long deadline, and then we come back to them. We had a conversation, this is what we need to do. And then, again, shame them. The press is out there, the press likes a good story. If my son's not getting an education, then we need to shame them into giving them the correct education. And we have great teachers. I mean, it has nothing to do with that. They always try to put it on the teachers, and they say, oh, the teacher didn't do that, and then you give them a paddle to sail across the ocean. You know, I mean, that just doesn't work. We have the great students. Something is missing. So I get it.
Yeah, I wanted to go on his comment. The way that you market to the African American community that I know of, it's the way we raise our children is the way that we were raised. So if you hand it to your child, it's not coming home to you. So you not only want to hand something to the child, but you want to mail something to the house, just so that the parent can understand and see what's going on. Or you want to knock on the door and introduce yourself. You want to expand not only from the school but to the community. And if you can expand to the community, you can get to the whole city. And not only West Philadelphia, but you want to get to Northeast, you want to get to North, and you want to get to South. You want to get to everywhere to show the city and show the school district that you actually care about your students, that you actually care about the parents, and you care about your child's education. Because if you can show that, then you have power.